Hello. Please stick with this to the end so it makes sense. And please forgive my cough drop in my mouth. I'm trying not to cough. I had a story come to the forefront of my brain this morning because I saw a posting that my friend had put about her dog almost being attacked by a much bigger dog and what she had to do to protect her dog. And it reminded me of our dog that we had when I was a kid. And we were out at Wagner's Lake and we had a cabin out there. And the roads used to be just dirt. There wasn't concrete. There weren't the nice houses that are there now. And there was a trailer close to where our cabin was. And they had a dog run with a kennel and a big black lab. And one day I was out walking with our dog, and our dog was attacked by this lab out of nowhere. The dog was out of its kennel. I had no idea it was out. It came rushing up from behind us, grabbed our dog by the back, along his spine, and started shaking him and tore flesh loose. And of course our dog was screaming and in pain. And then he tried to limp and was growling at the dog, trying to protect me, and the dog lunged on him again and grabbed him by his neck then and was shaking him and trying to break his neck. And I was hitting the dog to try and get him to drop our dog. And finally, the only thing I could think of was pry his jaws apart. So I have a very good understanding of how strong a dog's jaws are. So I had to grab the dog's jaws and literally pull till he finally released our dog. And by then, another person had come running up, and the dog ran back to its place where it lived. And I picked our dog up and took it back, which wasn't all that far away, covered in blood. The dog was unconscious by that point. Of course, I'm sobbing. I think this is the end of the dog. And somehow he managed to survive, and months later was back to functional and being our dog again. But what was interesting is that evening when my dad got home from work, and my dad was an alcoholic, and so he got to drinking like he always did at night, got angrier and angrier about the situation, and then insisted that I go with him over to this place, this residence where the person owned the dog, who was a single man and also an alcoholic. And the two of them got into an argument about, it wasn't about my safety. It was about his dog attacking our dog, and how my dad wasn't going to pay for vet bills, and that if the dog dies, it's on him, and just a lot of stupidity. And I remember at the time I saw his dog in the kennel at that point, and the man had said, "What does it matter? I've done you a favor. The thing is just a mutt anyway." And that's the first time I recall being chilled to the bone by another human and what they said, because I thought, wow, he really means that this creature means nothing. His life means nothing because he's not a purebred. And I thought, wow, that's the first time I had experienced something like that. And I remember seeing his dog, when he first came out of his trailer. The dog was barking at us as we approached, but the dog was still barking and wagging its tail as we approached. And I remember thinking, that dog is doing what's normal for that dog. That dog wants this person's love and attention and approval, no matter what. That dog does not see this person the way I see the person. It doesn't see, and it occurred to me just like in a flash, the reason that dog attacked my dog was because my dog was a threat to that dog receiving that approval from that owner. That was his territory. That was his, nobody's going to take this from me. And I understood that in an instant as these two men were being ridiculous and arguing and all this. And so when I saw this today, this post, it brought all that back. And it occurred to me that right now, in this time that we're living in, and of course this has probably been true throughout time, those two men would represent governments and trying to be right and trying to decide what goes on with these dogs. Those dogs don't know anything but loyalty to those owners, those governments. We, as people, are a lot like those animals. An animal like that black lab could have easily turned on that man at any time and hurt him quite seriously. Never occurred to the dog to hurt his master, just like it never occurred to our dog to hurt its masters. Dogs are a pack. They want to be part of a pack. It's part of their mentality to stick together and do what's best for the pack. And they always want an alpha dog, and they will always make sure there's omega dogs. So when I think about where I think we're heading as humanity, I think if you start to look around at the world as it is right now, and you can keep narrowing things down, because that's so crucial to look at things with a critical eye, not critical negative, like perceptive. I think we have a world right now that is trying to make everybody decide that everyone else is a mutt and has no value. And everybody else is feeling that they're a purebred, that they're more important. Their way, their life, their race, whatever, is more important than another. And they're being divided. And divided and divided and divided. And the only beings that are benefiting from that are the leaders of countries and whoever is controlling those leaders. So that's a very small population. If dogs are in a pack and they want to take you down, they can. There's a lot of strength in a pack of animals, but there's a lot of destruction that can be caused if you can create enough tension between packs of animals and they turn on each other. I think it's about time that humans start to realize that nobody is a mutt. As long as you see anybody as less than you, and that you are more worthy than them in any way, like, well, you know what? They deserve to die, they did this. Or, well, they deserve that to happen to them, they're not very smart. Whatever it is, you are caving to the mentality of a pack. And you are caving to the mentality of whoever owns you. And you might say, well, nobody owns me. But if you're buying into the story that you've always bought into, and you never question that story, and you never wonder, is that really true? You never ever question it, then you have definitely been living a life that's been created for you instead of being created by you. And I think that's what people are waking up to. I think that the mass of people are finally starting to realize, I didn't have my life created by me. I let it be created by outside sources. So what I'm wishing for you today is to learn from these things. Do not allow yourself to think it's okay that the mutts of the world are allowed to be abused, attacked, demeaned, whatever it is. Stand up for each other. Stand up for the purebreds. Stand up for the mutts. We need to unite with each other. We need to see what we have in common. I know you've heard this forever, but you probably haven't been acting on it. I wish that for you, because there's strength in that and there's freedom in that. And that's the thought I want to leave you with. Thank you for listening.